Hello, friends. Good afternoon. Am I audible and visible? Good afternoon, Rehan, Jatin, Lopmudra, Mayank, Rukmini, Rob, Sadwik, Jay Shakti, Mehak, Lokesh. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, Himanshu, I am enjoying the rainy days, but these rainy days sometimes also create a bit of health issues. So now I'm a bit fine. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, guys. Good afternoon, Roje. Good afternoon, Sundar. Dipanshu, good afternoon. I am feeling better, Roje, in comparison to the previous classes. Okay. Yes, guys. I saw the many messages that were present on the group, and I discussed those things or those issues that you students are facing with Karan sir, and Karan sir is speaking right now with the team to resolve the issue as soon as possible. Okay. Good afternoon, Abhinandan. Okay. They said there was a class day before yesterday and yesterday, but there didn't occur any class. Okay. Was that the issue, Joel? Okay. See, I have read the issues that you students are facing right now. And in that case, discuss the issue with the team. After discussing the issue with the team, immediately Karan sir is on action right now and he is discussing everything. Okay. Yes. Jai Simha. Good afternoon. So, guys, as I've discussed, like today, I'm taking the class. I'm beginning with the modern Indian history, and we are going to discuss important events of modern Indian history. Now, what all things that we are going to discuss as a part of modern Indian history, I'll tell you. Okay. And what are the things that are important from the exam perspective? Please remember those things. First thing, Rahan, yes, Vijayanagar Empire and the administration of Mughal Empire. Certain part is left. I'm coming with that. Do not worry about this. Okay. In modern Indian history, yes, Mayank, don't worry. In modern Indian history, specifically, we are going to focus on arrival of Europeans, important governor generals, important charter acts, revolt of 1857, certain important parts of Renaissance, peasant movement. Apart from this, education commission, Indian National Congress. Apart from that, important events like Swadeshi movement, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and Quit India movement. Apart from this, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Rowlatt Act, Morley Minto reforms, Government of India Act 1919, Government of India Act 1935. Okay? So in that case, we are going to cover these topics. As I've told you specifically, what we say on Friday, I guess it's Independence Day. So on Friday, we'll be going for a marathon class. Okay? So the marathon class will be approximately 4 to 5 hours, probably 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, or maximum around 11 a.m. in the morning. Okay? Rehan and Mayank. The answer is like I have told you, we have covered the Maratha administration. And in that case, I have discussed the list of the important Peshwas. Majorly, there would be a question about arrange the following Peshwas in the chronological order. Okay? So I've discussed about the Peshwas. So that part was completed, Mayank. I had told you that I'm going to cover the administration of Mughals, which is left. Apart from this, I have told you I would be covering the basic part of the Vijayanagar Empire, which is left. Okay. In Vijayanagar Empire, majorly I'm going to focus on Sangam dynasty, that is Hariyar and Bukka, who laid the foundation of Vijayanagar Empire. Got it? That part would be covered immediately on Friday. As soon as I start the session on Independence Day, the first thing that I'm going to cover is Mughal administration, which will hardly take 20 to 25 minutes. And hardly 15 to 20 minutes, I'll be discussing the major events of Vijayanagar Empire. Is it clear, Rahan and Mayank? Okay. Teju, I would be telling the link in the end. I would be displaying that on the screen in the end. Is it clear, Mayank and Himanshu? Mayank and Rahan. Okay. So guys, please pay attention carefully. Okay. One more thing I have to ask you, how many of you are preparing for EPFO as well? Because approximately 16 to 17 students have asked me a question. They have personally messaged me on Telegram, sir, do we need to study history in more depth and detail in comparison to what we are studying for IB? Okay. EPFO. Okay, Sanidhya, you are preparing. Joel, you are preparing. Okay. Abhinandan, you are preparing. Okay. So guys, I'll give you the common answer for this. Okay, many students have a question, sir, do we need to prepare something else from your notes? See guys, IB, it's a one-day exam. And EPFO, although it's a one-day exam, but still it is being conducted by UPSC. And the level of the questions in UPSC are a bit higher in comparison to the SSC CGL and the IB. Correct? If you observe the questions of IB, if you observe the questions of SSC, if you observe the question of one-day exam, you'll come to know that the questions are single liner. Correct? For example, if I'll give you a very small example, Captain William Hawkins was the first person from English East India Company to visit the court of. So answer to this question is Jahangir. Okay? These kind of questions usually will crop up in SSC. These kind of questions will usually crop up in IB. But for example, EPFO, it usually has a tendency to ask questions in the form of statements. Okay? The questions goes like, consider the following statements about Jahangir. First statement, Captain William Hawkins visited the court of Jahangir. Second statement, Jahangir started the golden chain of justice system. Which among the following statements are correct? So answer to the statement is both the statements are correct. So probability in EPFO is that you will get multiple liner questions. I'm not saying that you will only get multiple liner questions, but I'm saying probability. Got it? First thing. Second important thing, apart from what I'm teaching, what all needs to be read for the perspective of EPFO. It is not possible right now to read lot many books, but I usually suggest students for ancient and medieval Indian history, those who are preparing for EPFO, they can prefer what we say Poonam Dalal Dahiya. And for modern Indian history, they can prefer Spectrum or BL Grover. Okay? Apart from this, I'll tell you one more thing. Those aspirants who are aspiring to go for what we say the examination of EPFO, APFC, which is conducted by UPSC, I have covered in depth and detail ancient India, medieval India, and modern India on YouTube. But you don't have that much enough of time right now to read or go through the videos. Okay? So do one thing. You can download the PDF of those notes from my personal history Telegram channel. Okay? And that is specifically history _ Alok Ojha. These notes are from the perspective of UPSC prelims. It would be helpful for you in CDS, CAPF Assistant Commandant, EPFO, APFC, UPSC prelims examination, and for that sake, certain state civil services. Okay? So many of the students had asked me personally on the Telegram, sir, what do we need to read? So these are the sources that you need to prefer. Okay? Yes, Abhinandan, that's the answer that I've told you, that all these things that you need to study. Secondly, how to manage the classes, I would suggest you, at least right now you have to study for 8 to 9 hours on daily basis apart from your classes that you are going through. And here you need to focus approximately 3 to 4 hours on IB and 3 hours for EPFO. Okay? Anshuman, it is okay that you prefer my notes and Lucent. That is okay. It's more than enough. But apart from this, like polity classes are going, history is there, geography is there. But in IB, you have to study additional something called as industrial laws. Okay? So you have to go through certain books of industrial laws as well. Mehak, at least graduation should be completed before you sit for the examination of EPFO, APFC. Got it? Yes. Prathamesh, you didn't miss anything. Now we are going to start with this. So guys, without wasting any more time, let's begin with modern Indian history. And please listen to me very carefully. Yes, Abhinandan. The quant class, immediately, as I've read the messages on the group, I've discussed this with Karan sir. And he's right now discussing with the team the issues that you guys are facing. Okay? Sanjay, in CDS classes, again, as I've told you, it is specifically conducted by UPSC. So a bit in depth you have to go. Got it? Guys, now listen to me very carefully. Now, let's understand about the arrival of Europeans in India. Now, my first question to you guys is, you just have to listen to the story, important event, that's it, and I'll make you write things. My first question is, the first to arrive in India was Portuguese, approximately around 1498. Who was the first person from the side of Portuguese to come in India? Mehak, graduation is necessary. You have to upload the degree as well. Okay? Abhishek, Vasco de Gama, Anand, Vasco, Joel, Gama. Everyone is correct. Jatin, Rehan, Sadwik, everyone. Now listen to me very carefully. Pay attention very carefully. 13th, 14th century. You can consider even 15th century. When the people believed that the milestone is land, there were two nations of the world that gave birth to explorers, that gave birth to seafarers. And these two nations were Portugal and Spain. Okay. Now what happened? At that time, approximately around 1340s, the ruler of Portuguese side was specifically whom? King John I. And King John I, he asked the merchants to explore further side of Africa. This is the African continent. Okay? Explore Africa, and for that, I am going to give you the sponsorship. The merchants started exploring, and they started exploring this part of Africa. This part of Africa is referred as Maghreb. Very simple words, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. These are Maghreb nations. And they cover the northwestern part of Africa. So here you can observe there is an island which is called as Canaries Island. So the merchants, they explored the Canaries Island. Now, why were these merchants exploring new places? They were exploring new places for spices. They were exploring new places for gold. So, okay, now merchants went back with lot amount of wealth. After King John I comes King Henry. And King Henry, he also asked the merchants to explore further. So merchants started exploring the entire northwestern part of Africa. Initially, the merchants only explored the region of, yes, Canaries Island. Then comes King Henry, as the merchants go and explore every entire northwestern part of Africa. I'll be providing you the sponsorship. Merchants started exploring this. And here, there is an island referred as Quetta. Merchants also explored this island. And specifically, gold, spices, and slave trade also started during this time. Now comes King John II. And King John II, he was being visited by a person, okay, whose name was Bartolomeo Dias. And Bartolomeo Dias was given the permission to explore the entire region of Africa and not just northern and northwestern part. Bartolomeo Dias came to southern tip of Africa and named this place as Cape of Good Hope. Okay? Cape of Good Hope, it allows entry into Indian Ocean. I will repeat the points again in short. Age of exploration started approximately around 1340s. The king of Portugal at that time, whose name was King John I, he supported the merchants. The merchants initially, they occupied the islands of Canaries. After occupying the islands of Canary, then comes another ruler whose name was King Henry. He further supported the merchants and they explored the entire northwestern part of Africa and explored the island of Quetta. Then comes King John II. Now, King John II, he sponsored Bartolomeo Dias, who came till southern tip of Africa and discovered Cape of Good Hope, which is nothing but entry gate into the Indian Ocean. Okay. Now, at that time, there was another person whose name was specifically Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus also went to King John II and said, please assist me, please aid me in my explorations. King John II denied him. So this person, whose name was Christopher Columbus, he goes to King Ferdinand. And King Ferdinand, he was the ruler of Spain at that time. He said that, okay, I will give you the permission to explore the route to Asia. Christopher Columbus, he wanted to discover the route of Asia, but accidentally he landed on another island. And that island was called as Hispaniola. It is not necessary to remember the name. Christopher Columbus, initially, he was not given the sponsorship by King John II, the ruler of Portugal. So where did he go? He went to ruler of Spain, whose name was King Ferdinand. And King Ferdinand said him, okay, you can explore Asia. Accidentally, this person, he landed on another island which is called as Hispaniola. And now he discovered something called as Americas, North America, South America, and what we say, middle part of America, that is Caribbean islands. So now what happens? When there is a huge profit in the trade, obviously when there is a monopoly. Isn't that so? I'll give you a very simple example about this. Initially in the telecom sector, we had many competitors. Airtel, Reliance, which now became Jio. We had Hutch, Vodafone, Uninor, Telenor, BSNL, and so on. But when will the profit margin be high? Obviously, the profit margin will be high when there are less competitors, so that you can establish a monopoly over the market. Now, what happened? Suppose both Portugal and Spain are going to trade in India. Example I'm giving you. Okay. What will happen? And both of them are going to collect spices from India, sell that in Europe. Obviously, the profit margin will decline. Why? Because both the players are trading in the same market, in the same product. So competition will increase and profit margin will decline. So what did Spain and Portugal decide? Why don't we sign a treaty? Atlantic Ocean was created as a boundary line. To the east of Atlantic Ocean, Portugal would be trading. And to the west of Atlantic Ocean, Spain would be trading. And this treaty is called as Treaty of Tordesillas. Okay? In very simple words, Atlantic Ocean was created as a boundary line between Spain and Portugal. Portugal will further trade to the east of Atlantic Ocean. Spain will further trade towards the west of Atlantic Ocean. Okay? Cape of Good Hope was already being discovered. So, moving further. 4 ships, 176 to 178 crew members in that ship, in 1498, landed at the coast of Calicut in Kerala. And these 4 ships were led by a merchant referred as Vasco da Gama. They landed at the coast of Calicut in Kerala. And at that time, the ruler of Kerala, precisely the ruler around the region of Calicut, was a dynasty whose name was Eradi dynasty. And the ruler's name was Samutri, also referred as Zemurine. So Vasco da Gama, he came in 1498. And when Vasco da Gama came in 1498, it is said that during his initial voyage, he did not accrue huge amount of profit. He went back. But when he came for the second time in India, it is said that just by sale in black pepper, in Hindi it is called as Kali Mirch, he earned 62 times profit. Can you imagine 62 times profit just in sale of black pepper in the European market? Correct? So this person, Vasco da Gama, he came and he earned huge amount of profit. Now Portuguese have already discovered the trade route to India. And now Portuguese started a surplus amount of trade in India. There were many people who came to India after Vasco da Gama. One important person was Francisco de Almeida. Now, Francisco de Almeida, he was an intelligent personality. What did I say right now? I gave you the example of telecom sector. I gave you the example of Jio, Airtel. I gave you one simple example. And what is that? Obviously, the profit margin will be high when you have a monopoly. If you have many people selling the same product, obviously, you will find the most competitive price. But in that case, if product is necessary, and apart from this, you have only one person selling that product, you are obliged to buy from that person at any cost. Correct? Similarly, the best way is to adopt a monopoly over the market. This person, Francisco Almeida, he came up with a policy which is called as Blue Water Policy. And what is Blue Water Policy? We have to establish monopoly over the entire Indian Ocean so that nobody can trade here. After Almeida comes another person whose name was Alfonso de Albuquerque. Alfonso de Albuquerque. This person, it is said that he said, like, we are not only interested in trading with India, we want to make India as our home. So what did this person do? He occupied the region of Goa and made Goa as the epicenter of Portuguese activities in India. First thing. He started first Portuguese mint in India. In fact, many historians do believe that Alfonso de Albuquerque, he also abolished the sati system prevalent in the region around Goa. So Portuguese, the major one was Vasco da Gama, followed by Almeida, followed by Albuquerque. Okay, there are many others such as Pedro Cabral, Nuno Cunha, and so on. But these three are the most important one. And they established factories on the west as well as east coast of India. Now what happened? With the passage of time, the power of Portuguese started declining. Why the power of Portuguese started declining? Because there was change in the structure in Europe. As I've told you, initially there were two mafias of the world, Portugal and Spain. Now the dynamics has changed. More mafias have come up, such as English East India Company, that is British, and French East India Company, Dutch East India Company. So the competition now has increased. And that became one of the major reasons for decline of Portuguese in India. Are the points clear about Portuguese? Yes, guys. Is it clear? Did you understand the entire structure? Okay, very good, everyone. Now, please give the title, Arrival of Europeans in India. And in short, we are going to write Arrival of Europeans in India. You know, I'll tell you one thing. When you study world history, you'll come to know about interesting things about. Correct? Now, let me ask you, is apple a crop of India or was it introduced by Britishers in India? Yes. Yes, Himanshu, I'll tell. The name of the treaty is Treaty of Tordesillas. Is apple, like, it was introduced by Britishers? Okay. Like, I'll give you a very small example. There are many things. This is also called as globalization. What is globalization here? Like, when people started exploring other countries, there was not only transfer of crops, there was also transfer of ideologies, there was also transfer of diseases. Okay, I'll give you a very small example about this. Okay, apples. Like, there was a person whose name was Samuel Evan Stokes. Okay, chili, tobacco was introduced by Portuguese in India. Correct? Now, there was a person whose name was Samuel Evan Stokes. And Samuel Evan Stokes, he was an American Christian missionary. And during the time of Britishers, it is said that this person, he came from a very wealthy family, and he wanted to, what we say, he did not had an inclination towards his business. In fact, he had an inclination towards spreading Christianity. So after 1905, he decided that he's going to come to India and spread Christianity. So there is a place in Himachal Pradesh called as Kotgarh. He came in Kotgarh and he settled in the region of Kotgarh, Himachal Pradesh. And at that time, this person who had come to, what we say, spread Christianity, he was very much influenced by a person from Arya Samaj, whose name was Pandit Rulia Ram. Okay, I was reading an article in Art and Culture, and beautiful story about this. So he came in contact with Pandit Rulia Ram, and he saw that when in the region of Himachal Pradesh, people are suffering from plague. What happened? Pandit Rulia Ram, he was treating the patients, and he was very much astonished. When the entire villages were being deserted, this person is treating the patients like he's treating his children. Okay. And at that time, what happened? He was very much astonished. He asked Pandit Rulia Ram, and Pandit Rulia Ram said, "This is nothing but seva. This is nothing but what I'm doing is a part of my humanity." At that time, it is believed that Samuel Evan Stokes, who had come to India to preach Christianity, he became follower of Hinduism. And he assumed he became follower of Hinduism under aegis of Arya Samaj. And his name is Satyanand Stokes. He introduced apple farming in India for the first time. Prior to this, there was a British captain whose name was Lee. He had came up with a variety of apple which was called as Newton Pippins. But it was very sour and tangy, so it did not flourish. But this person, he started proper apple farming in India, specifically in the region of Kotgarh. Okay, so when there is a migration of people, it is not only about the seeds, the crops, it is also the migration of cultures, traditions, customs, and so on. Okay. Yes, perfect, Abhishek. Potato was also being brought. Tomato, Prathamesh, correct. Okay. Yes, I'll dictate now, Ashirwad ji. See, Pratap, navigation technologies. Now, I'll tell you one thing. Okay, as I've told you, King John I supported the merchants, so they explored the Canaries Island. King Henry, he supported, so they explored the Quetta Islands. So what happened? Whenever they used to explore new places, they used to prepare nautical maps. So at least they knew the route till there. And whenever they used to go specifically to other places, again, they used to make the maps. So that helped them out initially. Got it, Pratap? Yes, guys, please note down. Yes, correct, Himanshu. Arrival of Europeans in India, Portuguese. 14th and 15th century, 14th and 15th century, saw the age of exploration. Initially, the merchants explored Canaries Island, supported by King John I of Portugal. King John I of Portugal. Yes, I'll repeat. Initially, the merchants explored Canaries Island, supported by King John I of Portugal. Later on, merchants explored Quetta Islands. It is located somewhere here in the Atlantic Ocean. They explored Quetta Islands with the support of King Henry. King John II, King John II supported Bartolomeo Dias, who discovered Cape of Good Hope. Bartolomeo Dias, who discovered Cape of Good Hope. Meanwhile, who discovered America? Yes. Who discovered America and with support of which king? Fast. Yes, very good, everyone. Colombo, Ashirvad, Adarsh, Lopmudra. Support of whom? It was not Marco Polo, my friend. Marco Polo is another one. Yes, yes. Very good, Adarsh. King of Spain. Very good, Abhishek, Ferdinand. Yes. Now, please note down. Meanwhile, very good, Abhinand. Christopher Columbus discovered America with the help of Christopher Columbus discovered America with the help of King of Spain, Ferdinand. Rishabh, I guess I'm audible to everyone. There are more than 130 who are listening. I'm audible to everyone, but please refresh once. Try this. King Ferdinand. Okay? Yes, I'll repeat, Prathamesh. Meanwhile, Christopher Columbus discovered America with the help of King Ferdinand of Spain. Okay? Thank you, Anand. I'm much better than the previous few days. Okay. Thank you, Anand, for the concern. Later on, Treaty of Tordesillas was signed between Spain and Portugal. Treaty of Tordesillas was signed between Spain and Portugal, as per which Atlantic Ocean was created as a boundary line. Atlantic Ocean was created as a boundary line between Spain, between the colonies of Spain and Portugal. In 1498, Joel, east was Portugal, west was Spain. In 1498, Yes, Rishabh, the last line was, as per Treaty of Tordesillas, Atlantic Ocean was created as the boundary line between the colonies of Spain and Portugal. Okay? In 1498, 4 ships with 176 to 178 crew members landed at the coast of Calicut, led by Vasco da Gama. In 1498, 4 ships with 176 to 178 crew members landed at the coast of Calicut, led by Vasco da Gama. Very good, Gatha. Kapat Beach. Is it okay, Ashirwad? I've repeated. Zamorin. The ruler of Eradi dynasty. Eradi dynasty welcomed Gama. Gama means Vasco da Gama. Prathamesh landed at the coast of Calicut. Then Zamorin, the ruler of Eradi dynasty, welcomed Gama. That is a point, Prathamesh, that I have said. After a few years, Gama earned more than 60 times profit by selling what? Yes. Gama earned 60 times profit by selling yes, selling what? Yes, spices, obviously. What spices? Majorly. Very good, Lop Mudra, Abhinand, Jatin. By sale in black pepper. Bhargav, Prathamesh, Sadhvik, Joel, Gatha, Adarsh. By sale in black pepper. Muhammad. Later on, Francisco de Almeida. Later on, Francisco de Almeida became the first Portuguese governor in India who adopted. Later on, Francisco de Almeida became the first Portuguese governor in India who adopted blue water policy to establish monopoly over Indian Ocean. Sia, just once refresh. Yes, I'll repeat the point again. Later on, Francisco de Almeida became the first Portuguese governor in India who adopted blue water policy to establish monopoly over Indian Ocean. Okay, moving ahead. Yes, Cartas was a tax, Carta system. Correct. Correct, Himanshu. Another important Portuguese governor was Alfonso de Albuquerque. Alfonso de Albuquerque. He made Goa as the epicenter of Portuguese activities in India. He did not make Goa as his capital. Okay, guys. He did not make Goa as his capital. Please note this down. In bracket, note it. He did not made Goa as his capital. Then Goa as epicenter of economic activities. Prathamesh. Then comes about him. He abolished sati in the region of Goa. He abolished sati in the region of Goa. Got it? Now let's come back to Dutch. Yes, Himanshu, correct. Joel, the capital Goa was made by Nino de Cunha. Just remember this, Nuno Cunha. Okay? Yes, correct, Adarsh. He had also encouraged the Portuguese officers to marry in India so that they can establish permanent settlements in India. True. See, Konkan, see, these are the coastal regions, like the entire coast of Gujarat is called as Kutch. The entire coast of Maharashtra and Goa is called as Konkan. Entire coast of Karnataka is called as Kanara. Okay. So, Konkan can be a part of, like Goa can be the part of Konkan. Okay, Prathamesh? Now, let's understand about DEIC. Dutch East India Company. So, Netherlands, it was, the people of Netherlands are called as Dutch. Okay. So, initially it was a colony of Spain, but after some time it got independence. And when it got independence, what happened? They had a plan to colonize Asia and India. Why? Because they have heard about one thing, that Portuguese have earned huge amount of profit by trade in spices. Okay. So Dutch, initially, which was a colony of Spain, now wanted to colonize India. Now wanted to conquer India. Why? For spices. So what did Spain do? Spain played a very important game at this time. Now Spain had declared embargo on Dutch. What is embargo? You might have heard about this term oftenly while watching the news. Like America, USA has imposed embargo on Iran. USA has imposed economic sanctions on Iran. What is that? Simple words, those countries who are going to trade with Iran, we will not trade with that country. True? So that is nothing but economic sanctions or ban on certain products. Getting the points clear? So at that time, Spain had imposed embargo on Dutch. Those who are going to trade with Dutch, we are not going to trade with them. First thing. The ports of what we say surrounding the region of Spain, which had access to Mediterranean Sea. This is Mediterranean Sea. All the ports were closed. Now Dutch had no options. Otherwise, what could have Dutch done? Dutch could have come to Strait of Gibraltar. From Strait of Gibraltar, it could have entered into Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, and directly into the Indian Ocean, and it could have directly come to India. But all the ports were being closed by whom? Spain. Spain had closed this region. How? They had asked the Portuguese, because this region was being occupied the entire by Portuguese. They had asked them, close all the ports. And this was done by Portuguese. Now Dutch has no option. Now what did Dutch do? Dutch, it moved to the entire, it traversed the entire part of the Russia. It came into Pacific Ocean. It came to Southeast Asia and came in the islands of Indonesia. After coming into the islands of Indonesia, they established their permanent base in Indonesia. And from here, they came to the east coast, and they came at a place called as Masulipatanam in Andhra. Okay. Now, Dutch, they traveled the entire part, came into Pacific Ocean. From Pacific Ocean, they came into Southeast Asia, made Indonesia their permanent base, and then moved towards Masulipatanam in Andhra Pradesh. And they established their first factory at Masulipatanam. Okay, in the east coast of India. Now the question arises, how did Dutch come to know about the route through Masulipatanam? Yes, correct. It is referred as Machilipatnam right now, Bonala and Manuru. So how did they come to know about this route? Now the point is, what happened, as I've told you, whenever Portuguese used to explore new places, what they used to do? They used to draw the nautical maps. And there was a person whose name was Huygens. Huygens was working for whom? Huygens was working for Almeida and Albuquerque. And what this person used to do? He used to draw the maps. Portuguese always used to carry him along with them, so that whatever places that we are exploring, draw the nautical maps of these places. What happened? One fine day, whose name was Huygens van Linschoten. Simple words, just remember Huygens. He stole the entire map from the Portuguese and he gave it to the Dutch government. And from here, Dutch government got the inspiration to form DEIC, Dutch East India Company. It is the first multinational company of the world. It is the first company to issue stocks. It is the first shareholders company of the world. And the Dutch East India Company was supported by the Dutch government. And Dutch government said to the company, go and explore the places. We are supporting you. And this is how DEIC came to Masulipatanam, referred as Machilipatnam presently. Okay. They also started a vibrant trade in this region. Now, what happened with the passage of time? Now, there was a ruler of what we say, the Malabar, you can call it. And the ruler's name was Martandavarma. Now, Dutch was increasing its influence. Martandavarma did not like this, and he asked Dutch that this, what we say, policy of imperialism is not going to work now. So, ruler of Travancore, Martandavarma, he had to come in conflict with Dutch. That is for sure. And at that time, Dutch East India Company, it had underestimated the power of ruler of Travancore, whose name was Martandavarma. Okay. And now finally what happened? Both of them fought. And there was a fierce battle which is called as Battle of Colachel that was fought, in which Martandavarma emerged victorious. Martandavarma, he was being supported by one of his able commanders whose name was Ramayan Dalava. Apart from this, the army of the Martandavarma had expert naval divers. And these naval divers were referred as muakkars. They were expert in diving. Like I'll give you a small example. Hundreds of divers, they used to enter this, what we say, waters. And they used to go below the ships. And they used to capsize the entire ship. Many of the ships of the Dutch East India Company were being capsized by the muakkars in this manner. And in this strategic manner, Martandavarma, he emerged victorious. And Dutch East India Company lost all the territories in India. And finally, Dutch East India Company had to go back again to Indonesia. I've told you, Dutch East India Company had made Indonesia as its permanent base in India. Clear? Yes, guys. Did you understand about DEIC, Dutch East India Company? Okay. Yes, Monique. Martanda Verma was in the West Coast. True. What did I tell? Initially, he had, what we say, Dutch East India Company established their, what we say, base in Masulipatam. But with the passage of time, they followed the policy of imperialism. They started expanding their territories. And when they started moving towards West, obviously they are going to come in contact and conflict with Martanda Verma. This is what I said. Got the points, Monique? And at that time, the ruler of Travancore, Martanda Verma, did not want Dutch to follow the policy of imperialism. And Dutch wanted to establish a monopoly over the spice trade. Obviously, they are going to come in conflict. Got it? Yes, guys, is it clear? Yes, everyone. Any doubt, any query, stop me. Ask me. I'll repeat the point again. Clear? Okay. Fine. Write DEIC. Note down. Initially, Dutch was a colony of Spain. Initially, Dutch was a colony of Spain. Later on, yes, Koresh, you can say that this is also kind of monopoly. Okay, until and unless you, like Portuguese were ruling here. Now, the monopoly of Portuguese, they have to break the monopoly of the Portuguese. And in order to break the monopoly of Portuguese, they have to capture this region. Correct? And in that case, obviously, they are going to come in conflict with others. These days, there's a competition in every market. What are people trying to do? Again, they are trying to establish a monopoly over everything. Isn't that so? Like, I'll give you a very small example, a very small concept. Like, initially, the grocery stores were flourishing. Now, what happened? Against these grocery stores came up D-Mart. You might have heard about this. Apart from this, what happened? D-Mart tried to establish the monopoly of the market. Now, again, what happened? There were different apps that came into fore. Example, Blinkit, Zepto. What are they doing? They are connecting with the different grocery shops. So it becomes again a competition for whom? The D-Mart. So this is how they established monopoly over the market. Okay? Quresh, is the point clear? Yes, GeoMart and so on. See, Sadhvik, I'll tell you the story of Portuguese. Portuguese are going to come in conflict with English East India Company now. Okay, Sadhvik. So please note down. Initially, the Dutch was a colony of Spain. After independence, Dutch aspired to colonize Asia, Southeast Asia and India. Huygens. He provided the nautical maps to Southeast Asia and India. Yes, Sadhvik, as I've told you, there were small skirmishes between Dutch and what we say Portuguese, but Dutch had a major skirmish with Martanda Verma. Okay, and finally Portuguese will come in conflict with English East India Company further. Is it clear, Sadhvik? Later on, DEIC, in short, Dutch East India Company, established their permanent base in Indonesia. In India, they established their first factory at Masulipattnam. Later on, they established the factories over the east and the west coast of India. East and the west coast of India. Yes, Sanidhya, I'll repeat. Initially, they established their factory at Masulipattnam. Later, they started establishing factories over the east and the west coast. Yes, Rishabh, you have a questions in which year? See, there's no necessity of remembering the year, but still I'll tell you, it was around 1604, 1605. Okay, there's no necessity of remembering the year. 1604, 1605. Dutch came in conflict with, got it, Rishabh? Dutch came in conflict with Martand Varma, the ruler of Travancore, when they wanted to establish monopoly over the spice trade. Martand Varma. Martand Varma had Nayars, who were the heads and the military commanders in the army. Okay. Martand Varma, when Dutch wanted to establish monopoly over the trade, spice trade, Martand Varma was supported by able military commander Ramayan Dalawa. Ramayan Dalawa. And expert naval divers, Martand Varma was supported by an able military commander, Ramayan Dalawa, and expert naval divers, Muwakkar. After Battle of Colachel, Dutch were driven out of India. After Battle of Colachel, I am repeating the points, Rishabh and Prathamesh. After Battle of Colachel, Dutch were driven out of India and finally settled in which place? Yes, guys. Indonesia. Perfect. Prathamesh, supported by Ramayan, Dalawa, and Mowakkars. Marakkars are the same. Gatha, you have asked me a question. Marakkars, they are the expert naval divers again. Okay, Gatha? Abhinand Kolachal, 1741. See, Abhishek, many of them call it as Muwakkar, many of them call it as Mawakkar, and many of them call it as Mukawwar. Okay? Abhishek? Shantanu, the name of the military commander was Ramayan Dalawa. Yes, Rishabh, I'm repeating the point. The point is, Martanda Varma was supported by an able military commander, Ramayan Dalawa, and Muwakkars, the expert naval divers. Got it? Prathamesh, Shantanu, Rishabh, and now Roji. The last point is, after Battle of Kolachal, Dutch were driven out of India and finally settled in Indonesia. Got it, Roji? Okay. Now let's understand about English East India Company. Prathamesh, the last point I have repeated the fourth time, I'll repeat it for the fifth time now. After Battle of Kolachal, DEIC, Dutch East India Company, was driven out of India and finally settled in Indonesia. Okay? So let's understand about EEIC, English East India Company. So who was the first person from the side of English East India Company to come to India, guys? Yes. Okay, Maninder, I'll take a break after 10 minutes, okay? After 10 minutes, we'll take a short break. Who was the person from English East India Company? First person. Yes, correct, Himanshu. Jahangir played a very important role. Sneha says William Hawkins. Param says William Hawkins. Okay. Very good, Sanjay. It was Captain William Hawkins. Now listen to me. Very good, everyone. Gatha, Rishabh, Adarsh. English East India Company, it was formed approximately in 1600. And English East India Company was formed by charter. Okay? Now, the first person from the side of English East India Company to come, to visit India was Captain William Hawkins. And Captain William Hawkins, he visited the court of Jahangir. And as I've told you in Jahangir, that Jahangir had very good relations with Portuguese. So in that case, what happened? Jahangir initially denied the permission to the English East India Company to establish their factory at Surat in Gujarat. Okay? So in that case, what happened? Jahangir established Jahangir, he denied the permission to Captain William Hawkins. Sorry that I cannot support you in establishing your factory in Gujarat. But Britishers were very intelligent people. After few years comes Captain Middleton and Thomas Roe. And approximately from 1608 to 1611, they continuously came to India. And they were given the permission to establish their factory at Surat. Okay. With the passage of time, what happened? English East India Company started occupying different regions. Masulipatnam, Hooghly. Apart from this, Surat, they established their factory. Palikat, they established their factory. Okay, Agra, they established their factories. Bengal, they established their factories. Okay, so in that case, what happened? Here, it is believed that automatically, as I've told you, Dutch were getting wiped out of the competition. Now, what did these people do? English East India Company, they wanted to acquire the region of Bombay. And Portuguese were already declining. Okay, so what happened? At this time, English East India Company, they entered into the policy of matrimonial alliance with Portuguese. And right from the ancient India, we have seen matrimonial alliance is one of the best policy to increase one's power and influence. True? So what happened? Portuguese princess Catherine Braganza, she was married to Prince Charles II of England. And what happened? At that time, they got the entire region of Bombay in dowry of just ₹1. And what did Prince Charles do? Prince Charles II gave the entire region of Bombay to English East India Company for the purpose of trading. So just Portuguese were confined to the region of Goa. Okay. And Portuguese are also wiped out of the competition. Dutch is already wiped from the competition. And who is going to establish the monopoly? The monopoly would be established by English East India Company. Now, other reasons for decline of Portuguese and Dutch were, although they had established their factories over the west coast and the east coast of India, but these people, all these factories were splintered. There was no proper common administration. And English East India Company, it is always said one thing, guys. It is not necessary, like you might have heard about a very famous quote that the best thing to learn in life is to go and experience things. But Chanakya Niti says one thing, your life is too short to experience everything. True? So it is better to learn from other people's experiences. So in that case, Dutch East India Company's decline major reason was corruption. Second, the colonies were splintered. Same was the reason of the decline of Portuguese. And Britishers were intelligent enough here. What did Britishers do? They, created 3 new presidencies. Okay. Whatever colonies are there or whatever factories are there in southern part of India, they would be managed by Madras Presidency. And the credit for creation of Madras Presidency goes to Francis Day. Okay? After that, whatever trade was there in the western part of India and central part of India, it would be managed by another presidency, which was referred as Bombay Presidency. And as I've told you, Bombay, they got in dowry. And whatever trade was there in the northern part of India and the eastern part of India, okay, it was managed by another presidency called as Bengal Presidencies. So they established 3 presidencies in India: Bombay, Madras, and Bengal. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. The credit for creation of Madras Presidency goes to Francis Day. Bombay was given in dowry. Bengal. Now, there was an officer whose name was Job Charnock. Now, Job Charnock, he purchased 3 villages in this region: Govindpur, Sutanuti, and Kalikata, which is referred as Calcutta today. And these three villages collectively became Calcutta Presidency or Bengal Presidency. After some time, what happened? They started establishing different forts to take care of the administration. And precisely the forts were constructed in Madras Presidency and Bengal Presidency. So in Madras Presidency, one fort was created which is called as Fort St. George. And in Bengal Presidency, another fort was created which is referred as Fort William. And Robert Clive, he became the first governor of Fort William. My friends, please mind my words. I did not say Robert Clive was the first governor of Bengal. I said Robert Clive, he became the first, what we say, governor of Fort William. Okay? I will repeat again all the points within next 1 minute. Pay attention carefully. English East India Company was created approximately around 1600 by the Charter. Captain William Hawkins was the first Englishman to visit the court of Jahangir. Initially, he was denied the permission to establish factory at Surat. Later on, the court of Jahangir was visited by Captain Middleton and Thomas Roe. And they were given the permission to establish the first factory at Surat. With the passage of time, English East India Company started establishing factory on the east and the west coast of India. Now, English East India Company started distributing the management of the factories to different presidencies. First presidency was Madras Presidency. Here they constructed Fort St. George. And credit for creation of Madras Presidency goes to Francis Day. Then they create Bombay Presidency. It is believed that Catherine Braganza, the Portuguese princess, was married to Prince Charles II of England. And they got Bombay, entire region of Bombay, at a dowry of ₹1. And he handed over Bombay to English East India Company for the purpose of trading. Third important presidency that was established was Bengal Presidency. And the credit for creation of Bengal Presidency goes to a company's officer referred as Job Charnock. Now, at Bengal, three major villages were being purchased: Govindpur, Sutanuti, and Kalikata. And a fort was constructed referred as Fort William. And the first governor of Fort William was Robert Clive. Okay? Now let's understand about the administration of English East India Company. Pay attention very carefully. Hope you understood this concept of English East India Company. Now let's understand this part because it is very, very, very important. Because if you do not understand this concept, you won't be understanding the part of Governor Generals. So please pay attention carefully. English East India Company, it's a joint stock company. It's a shareholders company. Okay? And there are multiple shareholders in the company. English East India Company had 125 shareholders. And these 125 shareholders are called as Court of Proprietors. Got it? English East India Company has totally 125 shareholders. These 125 shareholders are called as Court of Proprietors. Obviously, these 125 shareholders are not going to make rules and regulations for the company. They will choose among themselves few people who are going to make rules and regulations for the company. So these 125 shareholders among themselves choose 24 as court of directors. And these court of directors are going to make rules and regulations for the company. I repeat, English East India Company is a shareholder company, also referred as John Company. 125 shareholders referred as court of proprietors. These 125 shareholders among themselves will choose 24 as court of directors who are going to frame rules and regulations for the company. Okay? Now we had discussed that there are 3 presidencies in India: Bengal, Bombay, and Madras. To take care of the administration of these 3 presidencies, there are respective governors. There is governor of Bombay, there is governor of Bengal, there is governor of Madras. And the governor of Bombay is referred as governor of Bombay. Governor of Madras is referred as governor of Madras. But governor of Bengal is designated as Governor General of Bengal. And governor of Bombay and Madras respectively are subordinated to Governor General of Bengal. In fact, they have to follow the orders of Governor General of Bengal. Okay, these 3 presidencies have their respective governors. Got it? Now, precisely speaking, Bombay, Madras and Bengal have their respective governors. But Bombay and Madras would be subordinated to Bengal. And the governor of Bengal would be designated as Governor General of Bengal. Getting the points? The first Governor General of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. First thing. Second thing, in the coming years, Governor General of Bengal will become what? Governor General of India. The first Governor General of India will be William Bentinck. And finally, after 1857, as per Government of India Act 1858, Governor General of India will now become the Viceroy of India. Okay? So who is going to appoint the governors of these presidencies? The governor of these presidency would be appointed by court of directors. As I have told you, these 24 are going to frame rules and regulations for the company. So they will appoint the governors for these places. Later on, they would be appointed by somebody else. We'll know that in further lecture. Did you understand this entire structure? Please let me know. Got this? Yes, guys, please let me know. Okay, wonderful. Adarsh, Bengal controlled the trade of entire northern and eastern part of India. And Bengal, since the ancient times, okay, since the time of the Mughals, Bengal was a major trading hub, specifically the port of Hooghly and so on. Okay, yes, I'll repeat, Joel, the last point. Who has asked me the question? Is it clear? First factory of English, Atul, Surat. Okay. I'll repeat the point again, the last part. Ravi Teja and what we say, Joel. English East India Company, it's a shareholders company. 125 shareholders called as court of proprietors. Now these 125 shareholders will choose among themselves 24, okay, as court of directors. And these 24 are going to frame rules and regulations for the company. As discussed, there are 3 major presidencies: Bombay, Bengal, and Madras. And all the 3 presidencies has their respective governors. Okay? But Governor of Bengal is designated as Governor General of Bengal. And Governor of Bombay and Madras are subordinated to Governor General of Bengal. Okay. The first Governor General of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. In the coming years, Governor General of Bengal would be given a new name, a new designation: Governor General of India. And the first Governor General of India was Lord William Bentinck. In the coming years, after revolt of 1857, he would be given new designation. That was Viceroy of India. So the first Viceroy of India was Lord Canning. Is it clear now, Joel and what we say, Ravi Teja? See, Adarsh, the basic point, if you remember, why didn't they come to Bengal first? Why did everyone majorly, apart from Dutch, okay, in fact, even Dutch were eyeing the west coast of India. They accidentally or unfortunately, because all the ports were being closed for them. Okay, so they landed up at Masulipatam. But what about English East India Company? What about French East India Company? What about Portuguese? Why majorly focused on west coast of India? I had given this example from medieval India. Malwa, it opens the doors of South India. And Gujarat, it had a vibrant trade. Forget from medieval India, a very, very vibrant trade from the time of the ancient India, precisely from the time of Indus Valley civilization. Okay, hence these people majorly focus on the west coast. Getting the points there? And why were they majorly interested in the region of Kerala? Spices. Why English were majorly interested in the region of Surat? French East India Company in the region of Surat? Indigo and cotton. Because they can be easily cultivated in the region of Deccan because of the black soil. Got the points, Adarsh? And at that time, Industrial Revolution was making inroads in Britain. So they require raw material in at a cheaper price. Don't worry, Pratap, even that port would be occupied by Lord Ellenborough later on. Karachi, Sindh, and so on. Okay? So hope, Adarsh, I have answered your question. Yes, perennial rivers are also helpful for the factories. Yes, everyone was selected by COD, Shantanu, initially. Okay, guys. So please note down and then we'll take a very short break. Yes, Pratap, tomorrow there will be, no, tomorrow there won't be a class. The class would be on Friday. Okay? 4-hour session. Please note down fast, very fast, guys. EIC, English East India Company. Abhishek, today's class would be around approximately 4:30. EEIC, English East India Company. EIC was created by Charter of Queen Elizabeth around 1600. Please note down fast, okay, guys. Captain William Hawkins. Captain William Hawkins was the first Yes, Himanshu, I had read in the news that exam would be from 12th and 13th of September. Ahead of that, very little time is left for you guys. Keep on revising the concepts. Captain William Hawkins visited the court of Jahangir to establish factory at Surat. Later on, Captain Middleton and Thomas Roe got the permission to establish factory in Surat. EEIC, English East India Company, created three major presidencies in India. Yes, Mani, do not worry, I'll dictate slow. Created 3 major presidencies in India. First, Fort St. George was constructed in Madras Presidency. And the credit goes to Francis Day. And the credit goes to Francis Day. Second, Fort St. George was created in Madras Presidency, and the credit goes to Francis Day. Note down, Bombay was given in dowry to EEIC by Portuguese. In bracket, note down, Portuguese Princess Catherine Braganza Portuguese Princess Catherine Braganza married Prince Charles II of England. Prince Charles II of England, and got Bombay in dowry. Third, Company's officer Job Charnock Company's officer Job Charnock, J-O-B Charnock, C-H-A-R-N-O-K, Company's officer Job Charnock purchased 3 villages: Govindpur, Sutanuti, and Kalikata. Govindpur, Sutanuti, and Kalikata. And finally, Bengal Presidency was created. Finally, Bengal Presidency was created. Yes, Joel. Company's officer Job Charnock purchased 3 villages, that is Govindpur, Sutanuti, and Kalikata. And finally, Bengal Presidency was created. Fort William was constructed in Bengal Presidency. I had told you the name of the first governor of Fort William. Please name him. Who was he? Fort William was created in Bengal presidency? Very good, Ashirvad. Jatin, Lopamudra, Atul, Roji, Sadwik. Note down. No, Sanjay, it was not Lord Hastings. Sundar, Adarsh, very good. Everyone. Robert Clive was the first governor of Fort William. Next point. As per Regulating Act 1773, as per Regulating Act 1773, no, Rishabh, it is not Curzon. No, Pasna, it is not Bentinck. As per Regulating Act 1773, there were respective governors of all the presidencies, but Governor of Bengal was designated as Governor General of Bengal. And Governor of Bombay and Madras were subordinated to Governor General of Bengal. Were subordinated to Governor General of Bengal. The first Governor General of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. Please do not write Lord Hastings. Both of them are different. Warren Hastings and Hastings are different. So please note down, the first Governor General of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. Okay, guys. A short break, exactly of 10 minutes. It is right now 3, what is the timing? 3:37, I guess. Okay. We'll assemble around 3:47. Okay. So take a short break of 10 minutes. Yes, guys, regathered everyone. Yes, my friends, regathered. Atul, the number of court of directors, if you want to note it down, these are 24 and court of proprietors are 21, 25. Okay. Pratap, you have asked me a question like, when can we probably expect the exam to be conducted? Okay. See, guys, if we analyze the trend of the IB examination, if you go in 2021, okay, so from the date of the notification and the form filling and the conduct of the exam, approximately there was a gap of approximately, I'm telling you, 58 to 60 days. If I go to 2023, okay, similarly from the date of filling the form and the conduct of exam, there was a gap of 53 days. And if we analyze it now, I guess 18th and 19th July was your form filling date, it started. And 10th of August was the last date for your form submission. Correct? So you can expect the examination to be conducted. What I personally feel, it won't be conducted in August. Okay. At least a month it will take. At least a month. So you can expect your examination to be conducted between 15 to 20 September. You can expect this date. Okay. No, Rishabh. Bengal presidency was not created by Robert Clive. Bengal presidency was created, credit goes to Job Charnock. In Bengal presidency, there's a place called as Fort William. The first governor of Fort William was Robert Clive. Okay. So you can expect your exam around 15th to 20th of September. Got it? Now let's understand within next 10 minutes about French East India Company. And then we'll go with few important governors. So yes, guys, French East India Company, who played a very major role? Yes. Now, before I start with French East India Company, let me ask you a few questions because I haven't asked any questions today. Okay? Yes, very less time. Obviously, Madhav, if the name is French East India Company, obviously the France is going to form them. I am asking who played a major role. Name any person. Now, this goes like in the manner like if I'm asking who played the role of Lord Ram in Ramayana. Obviously, Lord Ram is going to play the role. So obviously, the French East India Company would be formed by the French people. But the major role I'm asking. Yes, the answer is Colbert and Francis Caron both. Okay, correct. Rehan, Mehak, Jay Shakti, Duplay, no. Duplay, he came into picture later on. Lopamudra. Okay, guys. Now, let's talk about French East India Company. The ruler of France was Louis XIV. And in the court of Louis XIV, there was a very intelligent minister whose name was Colbert. Okay. So Colbert suggested his king that many countries like Portugal, Dutch, English East India Company are earning surplus amount of profit by sale in spices. And they are trading in spices precisely in the region of European countries. So why don't we start trading with India in spices? So Louis XIV, he asked Colbert, yes, I understand that Portugal is earning huge amount of profit. Yes, I understand that what we say, these people are earning huge amount of profit, Dutch and English East India Company. But again, if we go there in the same market, already 3 people are trading there. Is it possible that we are going to earn huge amount of profit? Colbert was an intelligent minister. And Colbert said, rather than directly trading in Asia or rather than directly trading or targeting India, why don't we do one thing? We traverse the entire path of Cape of Good Hope. We come to an island country, Madagascar, and we create Madagascar as our base. And from Madagascar, we are going to, what we say, send the ships in different directions. We are not only going to target India, not only going to target Southeast Asia. Wherever there is a possibility of good trade in spices, we will target our ship from the region of Madagascar to that region. In that case, this person was very happy, Louis XIV. So he said, this is a good idea. And for that, we need to create a company. He said, yes. In 1664, a company was created. The name of the company was Campagne des Orientales Indies, also referred as French East India Company. I repeat, Campagne des Indies Orientales. Simple words, French East India Company. And the credit goes to Colbert and Louis XIV. As they decided, they created Madagascar as their base. So if you have created Madagascar as your base, obviously Portuguese are not foolish people. Way behind, hundreds of years ago, Portuguese have discovered Cape of Good Hope. If you think so, if these Portuguese have, what we say, come to Indian Ocean, don't you think so these people have encountered the island of Madagascar? Don't you think so they are going to establish one of their base in Madagascar? Obviously, yes. So what happened? Already there was base of other European companies in Madagascar. So their trade could not flourish a lot. So what happened here? Now these people, they decided that directly they are going to come to India. A fleet of ships was sent under the leadership of Francis Caron. And they directly came to Surat. And at that time, the Mughal emperor was Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb supported French East India Company to establish their factory at Surat. And already there was a factory of English East India Company in Surat. Okay. Later on, it is said that French also started establishing their factory towards the east coast of India. And France made Pondicherry as the base of economic activities in India. Okay. Now, the tussle between two people start, or the two companies start in India. French East India Company and English East India Company. How I've told you previously as well. Portuguese, they had given the region of Bombay to English East India Company. Portuguese are out of the competition. Dutch, already they had established themselves in the east coast of India. Finally, they fight Battle of Colachel with whom? They fight Battle of Colachel with Martanda Varma. They are driven out of India and established themselves in Indonesia. They are out of the competition. Now there are two major players who are there in the competition. English East India Company and French East India Company. Now, one fact you need to remember. Okay. And what is that fact? English East India Company and French East India Company, in simple word, Britain and France are not only fighting in India for colonies. These people are fighting throughout the world in the name of colonization. Why? Because industrial revolution, what does it demands? Industrial revolution demands raw material at the cheap price and manufactured good at expensive price. True, then and then only industrial revolution is going to benefit. So both France and Britain, they are in search of new colonies so that they can accrue the raw material at the cheapest prices. You won't believe that America, USA, which is one of the strongest economy of the world today, was once a colony of Britain. If you see the map of USA, North America precisely, what had happened? At that time, every Britain and France are fighting throughout the world, and that is referred as 7 years global war. Okay, I'll give you a small example now. Just give me a second. This is the map of USA. Okay. So what had happened initially? Britain, a small island country, it has colonized the entire eastern part of USA. And there were 13 colonies, 13 colonies of Britain in USA. Name of them are written here: Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Washington, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Hampshire, okay, Massachusetts. All these are colonies of Britain in America, precisely the East Coast. And on the West Coast, you will find the colonies of France. Above America, there is Canada. So there are colonies of France in Canada. At this time, what happened? Britain, although it has colonies in the East Coast of America, it is moving towards West. And who is there in West? France. Obviously, there is going to be battle between both of them, tussle between both of them, skirmishes between both of them. Apart from this, in Canada, France is having colony. Then Britain is moving upwards, and above USA is Canada. Again, tussle is going to be there. Just below South Africa, sorry, just below this USA, there is Caribbean islands. Spain and France have sugar plantations there. Okay, Florida, this region, okay, Florida, this region, it was considered as one of the richest colony, and it was under France. So these people are going to fight throughout the world. And India, they fought 3 battles, which is referred as Anglo-Carnatic Wars. In first war, what happened? Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle was being signed approximately around 1748. Second was an indirect war. And in third, what happened? Treaty of Paris was signed. As per this, what happened? France was just restricted to the region of Pondicherry. And the entire English East India Company now got the monopoly to trade over India. This is how English East India Company, which came from a small island country of Britain, ruled over India for the coming 150 to 200 years. Getting the points clear? So this is how, specifically if I see, these people, English East India Company, established their command over the trade in India. So only one competitor is left in India, and that is English East India Company. Got it? Yes, my friends, clear? Yes. Yes, Seychelles was one of the part of the Seychelles Islands were one of the part of the islands that was being occupied by France. Okay, Shantanu. Okay. See, Sia, I have explained how what was the role played by Colbert, was the role played by Louis XIV, and what was the role played by Francis Caron in occupying the entire region and coming to the region of Surat. How did they come in conflict with English East India Company? Not only these people were having conflict with whom? English East India Company, they were also having conflict with whom? Dutch East India Company and Portuguese. But later on, Portuguese were wiped out of the competition. Dutch was wiped out of the competition. Only 2 people are left, both of them. They are fighting throughout the world. Okay? So that is what the thing that I have explained in short. See, Danish East India Company, it ruled for a very short span of time. Okay? And Danish East India Company, in that case, what happened? Since there were major 4 European powers who were having a very competitive and monopolistic trade in India, it was not easier for them to sustain for a long time. Okay? So just you have to remember 4 of them. Okay, Adarsh? Yes, correct, Himanshu. One of the good examples is that. Yes, guys, please note down French East India Company fast. And then today I'm going to talk about at least 2 governor generals. Please note down fast. Colbert One of the minister in the court of King Louis XIV. One of the minister in the court of King Louis XIV suggested to establish Madagascar as the base of trading activities. Suggested to establish Madagascar as the base of trading activities. Around 1664, Campaign de Indies Orientalis. Campaign de Indies Orientalis, also referred as French East India Company, also referred as French East India Company, was formed few years later. Francis Caron. Few years later, Francis Caron came up with fleet of ships, not sheeps. I'm sorry. Came up with fleet of ships and landed in Surat. He was supported by Aurangzeb. He was supported by Aurangzeb to establish first factory in Surat. Later on, where did they establish the base of their activities? Yes. Yes, guys. Where did they establish? Very good. Very good, Adarsh. Lop Mudra. No, Madagascar was initially the base. Okay. In India, only Adarsh has given the correct answer. Mehak has given, Madhav has given, Sadvik, Pratap, Joel, Rishav, Sundarajan, Muhammad. Yes, please note down. Jatin, Vishnu, very good. And created Pondicherry as the base of their activities. Correct, Atul. Madagascar, Rishabh was initially the base, but they cancelled it. Made Pondicherry as the base of their activities in India. The credit for creation of Pondicherry goes to Francois Martin. The credit for creation of Pondicherry goes to Francois Martin. Okay. French East India Company and English East India Company, right, in short, FEIC, EEIC, were involved in 7 years global war French East India Company and English East India Company were involved in 7 years global war and fighting throughout the world in the name of colonization. And fighting throughout the world in the name of colonization. Finally, in 1763, after Treaty of Paris, finally in 1763, after Treaty of Paris, FEIC was confined to Pondicherry. FEIC was confined to Pondicherry. Now let's understand about the important governor generals. Okay. So who was the first Governor General of Bengal? Discussed right now, few minutes earlier. Yes, guys? My friend, initial, like you have a question, why did not, but yes, everyone, very good. Warren Hastings is the answer. Why did not Aurangzeb take any action against English East India Company? Aurangzeb had a governor of Bengal referred as Shaista Khan. If you remember the Marathas, I have told you. Okay. It is believed that in what happened in the coming years when English East India Company started establishing more factories over the what we say eastern coast of India. They had a factory at Qasim Bazar and Hooghly. Shaista Khan was the first person to occupy the region of Qasim Bazar and Hooghly. So Aurangzeb later on started interfering with English East India Company as well. After the death of Aurangzeb, when the powers of what we say later Mughal rulers came into fore, what happened? Later Mughal rulers were not that successful. They were quite weak. And hence, at that particular point of time, English East India Company started overpowering them. Got the points clear? Who had asked me this question? Sadhvik. Okay? Yes, perfect Adarsh. He has sent to control Shivaji, Shaista Khan. So now, guys, let's understand about the important governor generals, and I'll tell you what things that you need to remember. That's it. Nothing extra. Please remember Warren Hastings and Hastings are two different personalities. Now, what kind of questions can come up or what kind of questions have come? Listen to me very carefully. I'll give you two examples. Bhagavad Gita was translated by Sir Charles Wilkin during the time of. Answer is Warren Hastings. Second question. Which Governor General ended the dual system of governance? Answer is Warren Hastings. Third question. Who started Asiatic Society of Bengal? Answer is Warren Hastings. Now let's understand, okay, about important governor generals and what do we need to remember about them from the exam perspective. That's it. Warren Hastings. As I've told you, there were three presidencies: Bombay, Bengal, and Madras. And all the three presidencies had their respective governors. The governor of Bengal was designated as Governor General of Bengal. And the first Governor General of Bengal was Lord Warren Hastings. Lord Warren Hastings, before becoming the Governor General of Bengal, has served as a clerk for the company for 23 years. Okay. Now, as soon as Warren Hastings became the Governor General, he observed one thing. And what did he observe? That specifically dual governance, which was initiated by Robert Clive, is a failure. What is dual governance? I'll give you a small example. Suppose I'm an officer of English East India Company. I have defeated any other ruler and occupied his kingdom. Now, what will I do? After defeating that ruler, I will ask him, you take care of the administration of the entire kingdom. I will take care of the entire finances of the kingdom. So what is happening? There is a complete mismatch here. Company is taking care of the finance. Here, ruler is taking care of the administration. In that case, company has no responsibilities and all the powers. And ruler has all the responsibilities with zero power. So there is a complete mismatch. So this is called as dual governors. Administration by the ruler and economics or finance, revenue by the company. As soon as Warren Hastings became the Governor General, he cancelled this system. First thing to be remembered. Second, okay, please do not focus here. I have mentioned all the points here. But what are the things that needs to be remembered? These are the things that I'm telling you. He ended the dual system initiated by Robert Clive. First thing. Second thing, specifically about him, he started two important codes, civil court and the criminal court. Civil court was called as Sadar Diwani Adalat and the criminal court was called as Sadar Nizamat Adalat. Third thing, he imposed uniform tariff throughout India, approximately around 2.5%. Like for example, I'm in Gujarat, I have to trade in Maharashtra, I have to pay 2.5% as a tax. I'm in UP, I have to trade in Madras, I have to pay 2.5% as a tax. Uniform tariff throughout India. So he started a uniform tariff of 2.5%. Okay. Another important aspect about Warren Hastings that you need to remember. Okay. Warren Hastings, his tenure witnessed First Anglo-Rohilla War. And this war, it became one of the major reasons for impeachment of Warren Hastings. He is the only Governor General who is removed from the post. Why? I will tell you one important aspect. Now, you need to understand this thing very clearly. First Anglo-Rohilla War, it took place during time of Warren Hastings. Who are Rohillas? Rohillas, they are tribe of Pathan, Pashtun, Sheikh, and they are prevalent majorly in the region of, yes, they are majorly prevalent in the region of Afghanistan and so on. They have migrated during the time of Mughals and they were working as military commander for the Mughals. Why? Because they had a very good stature, they had a very good built up. With the passage of time, the power of Mughals started declining. And when the power of Mughals started declining, what did Rohillas do? Rohillas declared themselves as independent. They said that we are not like involved with Mughals. And they got settled in southern part of Uttar Pradesh. And that place is called as Rohilkhand. Okay? Now, Mughals, they had animosity with everyone. Mughals, precisely during the time of Aurangzeb, they had animosity with Jats, Sikh, Satnamis, Marathas, later on with English East India Company. So what happened? They had animosity with Marathas. Now Marathas, they knew that these Mughals, they had an able military commander, Rohillas. And it is necessary to defeat Rohillas. So Marathas, they wanted to defeat Rohillas. And Rohillas knew one thing. We are not able to defeat Marathas we are not able to defeat Marathas single-handedly. It is not possible to defeat them. So what did Rohillas do? They asked Awadh for help. And the Nawab of Awadh at that time was Shuja-ud-Dawla. They said, the Nawab of Awadh, that please help us against Marathas, because we are not able to defeat Marathas single-handedly. Nawab said, okay, Shuja-ud-Dawla, I am ready to help you out. But what will I get in return? Why should I help you out? So Rohillas said, what do you want in return? Nawab of Awadh said, Shuja-ud-Dawla, I want 40 lakh rupees. Rohillas said, okay, no worries, we'll give you 40 lakh rupees. Help us against the Marathas. There was a combined army of Awadh and Rohillas. They defeated Marathas. Battle is over. After the battle, Nawab of Awadh, Shuja-ud-Dawla, said Rohillas, give me my 40 lakh rupees. Rohillas said, what 40 lakh rupees? Did we promise you? At this time, Rohillas were confident enough. They were confident that we are not able to defeat the Marathas, but we can surely defeat Awadh. Okay. They said, we are not going to give you any single penny. Do whatever you wish to. Now the Nawab of Awadh, he was very confused. And Nawab of Awadh, he went to Warren Hastings. And he told Warren Hastings, why don't you capture the region of Rohilkhand? Okay. So at that time, this person wanted to take revenge at any cost. Any cost. So he suggests Warren Hastings that why don't you capture the region of Rohilkhand from Rohillas? So Warren Hastings said, well, do you have any personal animosity against them? Awadh said, the Nawab of Awadh says, forget about that. For capturing this region, I will give you 40 lakh rupees. Warren Hastings was an intelligent personality. He thought that English East India Company is following the policy of imperialism. I will capture the region of Rohillas and the company will be happier for me. Why? Because I have expanded their territory. And second thing, company does not know about this. For capturing this region, I have been given 40 lakh rupees. And third thing, if this person, he is asking my help, he is not competent enough to protect his kingdom. Once I occupy this region, I will attack Awadh and occupy that as well. And this resulted in First Anglo-Rohilla War, and Rohillas were defeated. Warren Hastings occupied this region. There was a bribe of approximately 40 lakh rupees. One part of the story. Now, Warren Hastings, he had a person who was working for him as a clerk, and he was Maharaja Nand Kumar. He used to take care of the accounts at that time. And mistakenly, my friends, I have used the word mistakenly, there was a small difference in the accounts. How much small difference? 100 rupees. And just for a small difference of 100 rupees, Warren Hastings gave the death penalty to Maharaja Nand Kumar. Okay. And what about the 40 lakh rupees that you have taken as a bribe from this person, Nawab of Awadh, Shuja-ud-Dawla? In fact, Maharaja Nand Kumar had highlighted many cases of bribe against Warren Hastings. For many posts, Warren Hastings has taken bribe from the other rulers. And this was highlighted by Maharaja Nand Kumar. Immediately, inquiry was conducted against Warren Hastings, and he became the first Governor General to be impeached. Simple words, he was removed from the post. Apart from this, Bhagavad Gita was translated into English by Sir Charles Wilkin. And this was done during the time of Lord Warren Hastings. So these are the important things that you need to remember about Warren Hastings. Is it clear? Yes, guys. Clear? Okay, very good. So please give the title Lord Warren Hastings very fast. 5 to 6 points you have to note. Very good, everyone. Warren Hastings. He is the first Governor General of Bengal. He is the first Governor General of Bengal. He ended the dual system. He ended the dual system initiated by Robert Clive. He ended the dual system initiated by Robert Clive. He started Sadar Diwani Adalat Civil Court and Sadar Nizamat Adalat Criminal Court. He started Sadar Diwani Adalat Civil Court and Sadar Nizamat Adalat Criminal Court. Joel Diwani, Sadar Diwani. Adalat. This is Civil Court. Sadar Nizamat Adalat. This is Criminal Court. Uniform tariff of 2.5% was imposed throughout India. Then uniform tariff of 2.5% was introduced throughout India. Then Bhagavad Gita was translated into English by Sir Charles Wilkin. During the time of Warren Hastings. Himanshu, as I've told you, just only remember the points from the perspective of IB. I'll tell you the reason for this. He reduced the pension of Nawab basically because with the passage of time, English East India Company was cutting down the powers of Nawabs and the Mughal rulers. Okay. So English East India Company is being heavily criticized that they came to India for the purpose of trading and now they have started dictating terms and conditions to the rulers of India. Okay. Because they wanted to establish the control of company, and with the passage of time, they were wiping out these Rajas, Nawabs and Maharajas. Okay. Then note down, Asiatic Society of Bengal was established by Warren Hastings. He was the only Governor General of Bengal to be impeached. Impeached means removed from the post. He was the only Governor General of Bengal to be impeached. His tenure witnessed okay, Rishabh, he established Asiatic Society of Calcutta or Bengal. Okay, and now coming to the main point, his tenure witnessed First Anglo-Rohilla War. he gave death penalty to Maharaja Nand Kumar for the charges of forgery against him. He gave death penalty to Maharaja Nand Kumar for the charges of forgery against him. Okay. So guys, we'll see you probably on Friday. Fridays, as I've told you in the start of the session, that we are going to discuss about the important aspects of modern India. I'll be covering 3 to 4 more governor generals, and then I'll be moving to the different peasant movements and so on. Pratap, the name of the war was First Anglo-Rohilla War. Okay, guys. So see you guys on Friday, probably on Independence Day. And in that case, we are going to discuss the points of the what we have studied or what the part is left of the modern India, and precisely about the governor generals. No, Warren Hastings, see, modern judicial system, its reforms yes, he can be said as the pioneer of the judicial system, but majorly the reform started from the time of Lord Cornwallis. Okay, Abhinandan? Rishabh and Joel, I guess there would be a different class from tomorrow. Okay? My classes actually was scheduled just till 10th of August. And in that case, since I had to cover modern India as well, so I have asked for 4 to 5 more hours because it will take time if I go in depth and detail. So on Monday, I would be taking extra, sorry, not on Monday, on Independence Day, I'd be taking extra classes. Yes, Monique, it was Asiatic Society of Bengal or Calcutta. Asiatic Society. Okay, guys. So with this, I'll stop my words for the day. See you guys on Independence Day very soon. And we'll see you very soon. Please keep on revising the concepts. I'll be posting this link on the, I'll be posting this PDF on the Telegram channel. Shantanu, no history session from tomorrow. Okay, it would be on Monday. See, Sadhvik, capital was Vaishali at that time for Second Buddhist Council. But it was patronized by whom? Second Buddhist Council was patronized by specifically Kal Ashok. Okay, he was ruler of Shishunag dynasty. So it simply exemplifies one thing. Shishunag dynasty ruler had occupied the region of Vajji. Simple words. Okay? Okay, guys. Atul, there would be the last class of modern Indian history on Friday. 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours classes. Okay? Thanks a lot, Rishabh. Thanks a lot. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot, Joel. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sadhvik, the link would be posted on your app. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot, Ashirvad. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. So hope your journey of history was fine. Okay? And we'll see you on Friday. Yeah, sure, Ashirvad. No, on that day, it will be managed. Ashirvad, do not worry about this.